The year is 1692. The air is thick with tension, and the village of Salem, Massachusetts, is on the brink of an unprecedented crisis. A chill settles over Salem, Massachusetts. It is a chill that goes beyond the physical, seeping into the very souls of its inhabitants. But this is not the chill of winter. It is a deeper, more insidious cold that grips the heart and mind. This is the chill of fear, of suspicion. It spreads like wildfire, igniting paranoia and distrust among neighbors. It creeps through the narrow streets, seeping into homes and hearts. No one is immune to its touch. The very air seems to crackle with unease. Conversations are hushed and every shadow seems to hide a threat. What started with strange fits and whispers of dark forces would soon engulf the entire community. Accusations fly, and the line between reality and hysteria blurs. It would leave an indelible stain on history, a stark reminder of the terrifying power of fear and the fragility of reason. The records of these events are a testament to the chaos that ensued. Salem, a small village clinging to the edge of a vast wilderness, was a place where life was harsh and unforgiving. The isolation only added to the sense of vulnerability. Religion was the bedrock of their existence, a strict and unwavering faith that offered both solace and control in a world filled with uncertainty. It was their guiding light and their shield against the unknown. But in the winter of 1692, this faith would be tested, twisted, and ultimately turned against itself. The very foundation of their beliefs would be shaken. The seeds of suspicion once planted would grow into a monstrous harvest of fear and despair. The community would be torn apart, leaving scars that would never fully heal. To understand the darkness that descended upon Salem, one must first understand the world in which it festered. The Puritans, who had fled England to escape religious persecution, sought to build a new society based on their strict religious beliefs. The Massachusetts Bay Colony, founded by Puritans seeking religious freedom, was a place where their faith dictated every aspect of life. It was a society governed by strict religious doctrine, where deviation from the norm was not tolerated. Life was hard, shaped by the unforgiving wilderness and the constant threat of disease. The harsh winters and the struggle to cultivate the land added to their daily challenges. Hardship and conflict with neighboring Native American tribes further strained their existence. The fear of attacks and the unknown wilderness loomed large in their minds. The Puritan worldview was one of absolutes, good versus evil, God versus the devil. They saw the world in black and white with no room for ambiguity. They believed in the constant presence of the devil, always seeking to tempt and corrupt. This belief was deeply ingrained in their daily lives and actions. This belief, coupled with the hardships they faced, created a fertile ground for suspicion and fear. The community was always on edge, looking for signs of the devil's work. Any deviation from the norm, any illness or misfortune, could be interpreted as the work of the devil. The fear of witchcraft became a way to explain the unexplainable, and by extension, those in league with him witches. This led to a series of tragic events where innocent people were accused and punished for crimes they did not commit. The first tremors of what would become a full-blown crisis began in the home of Reverend Samuel Parris, Salem's minister. His daughter Abigail and niece Elizabeth, along with several other young girls, began to exhibit bizarre behavior fits, contortions, and outbursts of screaming. Doctors, baffled by the girls' affliction, offered a chilling diagnosis: witchcraft. Under pressure to name their tormentor, the girls pointed fingers at three women: Tituba, a slave woman from Barbados; Sarah Good, a beggar; and Sarah Osborne, an elderly woman with a questionable reputation. These accusations, fueled by pre-existing prejudices and anxieties, ignited the tinderbox of fear that had been smoldering in Salem. The witch hunt had begun. Section 4, The Reign of Terror. Trials, Torment, and Tragedy in Salem. The Salem Witch Trials remain one of the darkest chapters in American history, a period marked by hysteria, paranoia, and a tragic miscarriage of justice. This era, often referred to as the Reign of Terror, saw neighbor turn against neighbor and fear grip the hearts of the townsfolk. What began as whispers escalated into a deafening roar, as accusations of witchcraft spread like wildfire through Salem and beyond. The fear of the unknown and the unseen led to a frenzy where anyone could be accused, and no one was safe from suspicion. Special courts were convened to deal with the growing number of accused. These courts, however, were far from impartial, often driven by fear and superstition rather than evidence and reason. Trials, if they could be called that, were farcical and terrifying. The accused were often presumed guilty from the start, and the proceedings were more about confirming guilt than seeking truth. Spectral evidence based on dreams and visions was accepted as proof of guilt. This type of evidence, which would be dismissed in any rational court, was given undue weight, leading to many wrongful convictions. Confessions, often coerced through torture or the threat of it, were used to implicate others, fueling the ever-expanding web of accusations. The more people confessed, the more the hysteria grew, creating a vicious cycle of fear and persecution. Those who confessed were imprisoned. Their lives were forever changed, marked by the stigma of their supposed crimes, and many never regained their freedom. Those who maintained their innocence, like Rebecca Nurse, a respected member of the community, faced a grimmer fate. Despite their standing and character, their refusal to confess often led to their execution. 19 men and women, declared guilty by virtue of their supposed pact with the devil, were hanged on Gallows Hill. Their deaths serve as a grim reminder of the dangers of mass hysteria and the importance of due process. The shadow of the gallows loomed long over Salem. The events of the Salem Witch Trials left an indelible mark on the town and its people, a haunting legacy of fear, injustice, and tragedy that echoes through history. Section 5. Fear's Embrace. How mass hysteria fueled the flames. How did a community, bound by faith and common purpose, succumb to such madness? The answer lies in the potent cocktail of fear, paranoia, and religious extremism that gripped Salem. The belief in witchcraft was not new, but the social and political climate of the time created a perfect storm for it to flourish. Economic tensions, simmering resentment against the wealthy and powerful, and the ongoing threat from Native American tribes all contributed to a climate of fear and uncertainty. In such an environment, the witch trials provided a convenient scapegoat, a way to channel anxieties and reassert control over a world seemingly spiraling into chaos. Section 6. The Crucible cools. A reckoning and the end of an era. As quickly as it began, the Salem witch hunt began to unravel. Doubts crept in as accusations ensnared more and more upstanding citizens, even reaching the family of Governor William Phipps. Phipps, alarmed by the escalating crisis, ordered a halt to the trials and dissolved the court of Oyer and Terminer. While the formal trials ended, the scars of the witch hunt ran deep. Many of the accusers later recanted their stories, acknowledging the role of fear and manipulation in their accusations. The colony, shamed by the events in Salem, began the long process of atonement, offering apologies and financial restitution to the accused and their families. Section 7. Echoes of Salem. Lessons from a dark and timeless tale. The Salem witch trials stand as a chilling reminder of the dangers of unchecked fear, religious extremism, and the seductive power of mass hysteria. It is a cautionary tale about the fragility of reason and justice when confronted with unfounded accusations and a climate of suspicion. But Salem is not just a relic of the past. Its echoes can be felt in every generation, in every corner of the world where fear and intolerance threaten to extinguish the light of reason. By remembering Salem, by confronting the darkness that dwells within the human heart, we honor the victims and commit ourselves to safeguarding the principles of justice and reason for generations to come.